Hello, how are you? I hope you're good. So, today I am here with a BookTube Real Talk tea. This is empty. I have iced water instead, so this is a tag that has been going around everywhere recently, and I see a train, I jump on it because what if it's a Hogwarts Express and you girls not gonna try and miss that. So I've just been really loving watching these because it's so fun. You just basically talk to each other about what you really feel about or think about BookTube and your opinions. There's nothing really tea, so you guys probably know that I stay as far away from any tea that I can avoid. Doesn't mean that it doesn't sometimes find me though. I don't think I was tagged on this one, but if I was, then I'm sorry, I'm just not aware of it. I will leave the original tag down below for you guys if you want to check that out. And let's just get into the questions. It's kind of like a chill video to film, you know, especially because you don't really have to like, oh, there's a squirrel. That's so cute on a rooftop. Oh, I've seen like 10 squirrels today. I went to the park. I don't know what makes them so much cuter than like rats. It's the tail, isn't it? Regardless. Let me just go through the questions, and I also asked you on Instagram if you had any type of booktube-ish questions for me, and I'll look at those and see if there's anything that I could answer. Number one is, what's something nobody told you about booktube before you started your channel? I didn't really speak to anyone before I started about booktube. I don't think there was I didn't know anyone who was already doing booktube, so I didn't really get told anything, if I'm honest. When I sort of pick a project, I pick a project and I just dive in. I don't really think that much about it, to be honest. Like, not like I don't think much about it, but like I'm either in or I'm not, you know? I suppose one thing about YouTube in general is just how time consuming it is. Yeah, I think it's just like how time consuming it is. It's not like someone didn't tell me, but I think it's just something I underestimated at the very beginning. But I do have that kind of personality where I'm like in a project that excites me, I'm like in there, you know? So it wasn't anything like negative for me because I was really sort of like consumed by it and I liked doing it. So, but no one did tell me like, oh, look how time consuming it is, because I didn't speak to anyone who's doing any type of videos. Number two is, what is your opinion on typical booktube videos, wrap-ups, TBRs, hauls, and so on? I always found it interesting how these type of videos would be that kind of content that sometimes would get like negative rep almost, or people would be like, oh, you're just doing that, you know, the mold. Not only is it something that seems to be very, very reasonable for people to do, because this is speaking about books, and wrap-ups in particular I think is genius. I don't really see like, it's, you know, it's like, don't fix something that isn't broken. Like, if it's something is a really good idea, why not do it? And I also think that as a community, it's something that really binds us together. So all of these videos are something that can bring us together, make us a thing, rather than all of us doing individual things, like being original, which is great. But there's something to bond over, something to like find each other for. Wrap-ups are still the videos that I watch the most of other people, because that is where I get all of my reviews. I basically stopped doing individual reviews because I just don't think that I'm the best at them, and I might do them at some point if I really feel like I need to, or that I feel that I can't fit it into the wrap-up, but I do all of my reviews in a wrap-up. A lot of people do. I see as almost vital. Obviously you don't have to, but it's just something that makes us a community rather than just a bunch of different people talking about books separately kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? So I like it. I can definitely see why some people would not enjoy hauls as much, but I really do, because then you get very objective information on the book, because yes, they haven't read the books, so they can speak about the books, but that also means that they're not putting their opinion, like it's very unskewed, it's very objective, so you get objective information on the book, really short and sweet usually, and then you can decide if you want to pick that up or not, and there's a reason why they picked it up, and if you trust their taste or share a little bit of their favorites as well. TBRs I personally stopped making just because I would just speak about that and then speak about them in the wrap-up, so it was a little bit repetitive. But I also think that whenever there's readathons, TBR videos is how people find each other, because they will be like, oh, I wonder what other people chose for this particular prompt, and then they will search it and find it, and It's just all type of like community videos. I see absolutely nothing wrong with it and I love them. I find it funny how some people would be like, oh, there's nothing original or blah blah blah, it's just the same and the same and the same. But it really isn't, because every month is a different book. Every month is a different set of books really. So number 3 is, what is an assumption you had about BookTube before you joined? Was it proven to be correct or not? Oh, I had an assumption, and that is why I wasn't sure if I want to start. That was like almost like the only thing that made me really sort of wonder. I was under the assumption that I was too old to join. I know it might sound crazy because I definitely know people who are older than me, but the majority of people that I did see started when they're like 16 and are currently like 21. I'm turning 27 this year, and obviously there's so many people my age and older. But at that moment, I felt very much like, oh, I'm a little bit old, plus I haven't read for many years during uni and stuff, so I'm just very behind, and that was my assumption. And I don't know if it's wrong or not, but I think felt like I was sort of late to the game, because when I started, I was 25, I think. And yeah, I was just sort of starting up, whilst like, I also thought it was very late start to a YouTube channel as well, because a lot of people who have done really well outside of BookTube and everything, you know, started when YouTube kind of started, you know, 2011 and 2012 and stuff like that. And I felt like, oh, there's just so many, there's just such a sea on YouTube that it's impossible to get noticed currently. And I just thought that I missed the train, but I have always wanted to start a YouTube channel. I didn't want to do it on beauty, although I did consider it just because I really wanted to do a YouTube channel. When I discovered BookTube, I was like, this is it. This is what I want to do. Like, I really, really want to do that. So yeah, but my assumption was that I was too old or that I'm starting too late in my life. I don't think that is a wrong assumption in a way. I don't think it's a right assumption either. So I think it's a complicated assumption. Has a little bit truth and a little bit of, you know, this is kind of bullshit. Number 4 is, what is something you've done that has actually helped you grow your audience? Honestly, I think it's just such a luck thing on YouTube. I had one of my videos explode and it was absolutely entirely the same as every other video. Actually, it's one of my least favorite videos that I've ever made. Because I was in a hurry, the light was very bad, I made a couple of mistakes in there. So it's actually one of my least favorite videos, and it just went viral, and I did nothing differently. It's completely coincidental. I was also not prepared, but and some people get that all the time, and then some people work really hard for years and don't have that. And sure, and there's no like cheating the system, because the algorithm is obviously well-protected technology that no one knows about properly. You can guess and speculate, but I feel like if you let yourself get a little bit too much drawn into all that side, you lose the sort of purpose and fun of it. But honestly, I know it sounds so shit, because everyone cares if their videos are watched. I do as well, obviously, because you put so much effort into it and you want that communication with people, and if no one's watching you, then you don't have the communication. I do really think that is such a luck thing, and some of the videos I put so much effort to and then they're barely watched and stuff, you know, it's just like, yeah. One of the things that I do think is possibly logically helping is a consistent upload schedule, because then, or just like speaking from my own perspective, if I find a person that I really enjoy watching and if I subscribe to their channel and I know that they're gonna upload next week, there's gonna be something else to look forward to because they're uploading like twice a week or once a week, but they are uploading, I'll be more likely to go back to that, I think, rather than if someone uploads and then 2 months go by. If someone uploads super often for a week and then a month goes by and then they pop up back up. So I think having somewhat of a regular schedule, I think it helps. And like logically thinking about it, it should, because with every new video that you put out there. But that being said, you could also like be too much. Like I'm probably that to some people, like uploading a bit too much and too often. That also being said, it's just something to keep in mind if you wanted to, but I really just upload when you want to, because if you're just forcing stuff because you need a video, then chances are it's not a really fun video to watch because your heart wasn't in there. But I do think that that probably has helped me quite a bit, just people knowing that I will be uploading on like Wednesdays and Sundays. But that is just me guessing, honestly. I do really think I just got like damn lucky and people have found me somehow, but I've done nothing different from others. Sometimes some original content helps. Number 5 is, what is a common mistake you see new booktubers making or one that you made? I don't know if it's a mistake, but I think like when you get into booktube, if you haven't been in like this community for a very long time before, like I haven't, like only like a couple of months and stuff before I started making videos, is the initial craze of buying all the books that you see other people talk about, because you're just so book hungry. And in my case, I have had this like slump of 5 years prior, so I was like, well, I have work to do, I have to catch up on all of these books. So I spent a lot of money and I bought a lot of books, and some were definitely not my cup of tea because my tastes have changed since the last time I was an avid reader, but I should have realized that I need to find my taste again before I purchase all of these books. But it's not like a mistake because obviously it's bad for your bank account and it's not the smartest thing to do, but at the same time you are supporting the craft in general that you love. So number 6 is, what are your thoughts on working with publishers and sponsorships? Go for it. And that was my opinion before I started YouTube. I've been watching YouTube since I can remember. My thoughts are that this is a free platform for the consumer, so consumer doesn't have to pay anything for the entertainment or content that they get. And obviously, if someone has gone into BookTube to get rich, they have really missed the shot there, because no one should go to BookTube to get rich, because even our biggest channels on BookTube are just like tiny ones compared to like gaming or beauty or technology ones, because that doesn't even compare. If you have a creator that you really love watching, if they get a little bit of money from sponsorship opportunities that they get offered, because I don't think that there's that many, to be fair, in the circles that we are, that money that they get, I almost guarantee you goes back into making videos. If it's getting some more books to show you, or in my case, any sponsorship that I get, I put on towards paying my camera off. And it's definitely not something that covers the whole purchase, believe me. It's just something to help me out and justify to like my parents, being like, well, yeah, I spent a lot of money on this, but it's for the quality, for the video, so people enjoy it, possibly a little bit like more, it's like easier on the eye. Because this is a free platform for viewers to watch, I feel like when I see a creator that I like having a sponsorship, I'm just like genuinely happy for them. And if it helps them, because everyone needs to eat and everyone needs to feed their cats and kids, so anything that can help them a little bit, I think is great. And it's funny how people pay for TV and they get so many ads on TV, and yet there's no stigma for like television and having commercials there. Sometimes creators get sponsorships and work with some brands that they actually really like, and they get called a sellout or something. And it's just so weird, because this is, you know, a free platform, and for the TV you actually pay for it. And I'm just like, weird things. And truly, if I don't want to like listen to the ad bit in their video, it's just so easy to skip forward. Again, it's something you can do rather than like in the TV. You can just click 2 minutes further and then it's done, and you know, it didn't cost you anything, and yeah. But that being said, I can say that I have not turned down a sponsorship that I would have otherwise liked to do, because I was afraid of people judging me on that, because I did. I've turned down a couple ones that I genuinely wanted to work on or with. Like, my integrity is so important to me. I want people to trust what I say, and I was afraid, and I kind of regret that, because I wanted to work with the people, but you know, it's done now. I'm hoping I'm growing in understanding and just basically knowing that people who are really supporting you are gonna understand that. Helpful for the channel and it's helpful for a person to live. I think in UK is just not that often that companies do. Even the ones that I work with, like Skillshare. Skillshare is the one that I've worked, it's basically the main one. I've worked with Script before and that's it. Script and Skillshare were the only ones that I worked with. Both are American. The people in US get way more opportunities and good for them, you know? So it could be a little bit of a regional thing as well. And I do get like some emails of like partnering or sponsoring me for something extremely random that is not related or that's something that I wouldn't use. Obviously I just ignore that because I would not pitch something like that. But that was a very unnecessarily long answer, so. And the last question is, do you think BookTube is dying? And I have a very short answer for that one, and that is absolutely not. Moving on to the Instagram questions, let me see what you guys asked. Is it expensive to be a booktuber? Well, these days the cameras like on your phone are just great. Like my camera, like my phone actually has 4K and neither my main camera or my vlog camera has that. It can be expensive, but it really doesn't have to. If you have a phone and you have a library, that's literally all you need. You just need something to film on and you need books to read. And hopefully there's a library nearby and you have a phone. And if you have those two, then that's as expensive as it can be. But obviously it can be, it just depends how much you want to put into it and how much you want to play with it and stuff like that. How much time do you invest in BookTube on a weekly basis? Basically all of it. But legitimately all of it, all of my free time. So I work full time and because of that I only have like evenings or my lunch breaks and my weekends. And if I try to do most of my filming on the weekend and then I can try and edit basically a lot of it during evenings when I don't have the natural light. I upload quite a bit. I don't have to, I sort of like to, and it's just my personality. As I said, when I go, I go. But I think if you want to upload at least once a week, the minimum time spent for one video per week, for me, it would be like, with everything, if it's a short, simple video, maybe 3 hours is the very minimum. 4 to 5 hours, roughly what it takes to do like on a average type of video. Of course, there's replying to the comments, letting people know that that is up, all the little bits and pieces that carry on further. So it really just depends. So you can sort of calculate how much time I've spent on how much I upload. Or, but also depends on the video. If it's something super elaborate, it can go on for months and months, you know, like in the background. What editing program do you use? I use Final Cut Pro. Do you find it stressful to keep up with constantly making enough videos? Well, no one's pressuring me. I have like, you guys are such a loving community. Like, I think you would really understand if I needed to take a break. No one would shout at me. I do not find it stressful externally. The only pressure that I ever feel comes from here, from this person right here. Have you ever run out of ideas for filming, and if so, what do you do then? I don't think I ever ran out of ideas, but that's only because whenever I do get an idea, I write it down. And then if I do run out of ideas, I'll find that page in my bullet journal and I'll pick one of the things that I just wrote down to like make at some point, you know. Also, like a really good place to ask is like Instagram, and then you just ask people, or in the video if you know you want to ask people to suggest what they'd like to see. Literally like 70% of the questions on here are just how did I get started, but I feel like I already sort of answered that. Or what got you started doing your own booktube? Well, it's because I always, as I said, wanted to do YouTube. I just didn't know what topic, and then when I realized booktube was a thing, I was just obsessed. I was like done. I was like, yes, this is what I want to do. And some people are asking what would be a good place to start. I think booktube newbie tag. First of all, you can check what other people are starting around your time and then like get to know each other and support each other, and I think that is a very, very good place to start. And I think it's still like one of the only videos that people constantly check, and you know, like by upload date, so like they can welcome people into this community. Do you get trolled much? I never see much hate in the comments. Not often, but I do get sometimes. When that video went viral, that really attracted a lot of mean people, but I assume they're just like outside the community. So I was not prepared for that at all, and it was very, very damaging. I was just not prepared. From the outside, it looked like a very positive thing, you know, like your video's gone so big, and yes, it did, but and it's a great thing to experience, but I was just not, like, as a person with anxiety issues, I was not prepared for that. Do not always take negative comments in the best way. I'm like working on it. I think I get better and better with each one, but I think I take things to heart, especially if it's something that I will nag at myself, like someone will mention some criticism about me, and believe me, whatever you say, I say it worse to myself, but that just sort of, then I have to fight that, like, oh my god, is this true? Is like so noticeable? Or, you know. But I do definitely get mean comments. Usually I'll just try and ignore it. There were some people that were constantly leaving very nasty negative comments. I feel like in the booktube community, I don't know, this is probably not for the best, but we're obviously like well-read people, so a lot of the negativity comes in a very passive-aggressive, backhanded way, rather than like, oh, shut up, you fat ass. It's a more intellectual, mean kind of way, which hurts way more. But there were a couple of people that were very patronizing and condescending, and after some guidance from my friends, I have decided to shadow block them, which is you block it so you do not see the comments. They can still comment on your videos, but you do not see them. Because it would ruin my day, you know? And it's just like, it just became not worth it. But I think 98% of the people are extremely nice. When did you start? It was 2016. How did you get through your first videos and know this is something you wanted to do? I just filmed them. I never really... Like, obviously, I definitely got more relaxed in front of the camera and more myself. I never really had that big of an issue. I think I just didn't think about it, which is ironic because I overthink everything. And I knew that I wanted to do that as soon as I realized it's a thing. Like, as soon as I realized booktube is a thing, I knew it's like a match made to be. One thing you'd like to see change about booktube. Ooh, okay. In all seriousness, books that have representation in any capacity being put on a high horse and automatically given a great rating. Because I think it's a backhanded compliment. I think it's a very short-term reward because you will possibly make someone else read it. But if the book is not actually good on its own, all you're gonna do is possibly turn those people away from these themes in the future, because that experience, while valuable in perspective manner, might not have been very good. So books that have representation being automatically put in this like really high rating because they have that, I really would love to see that change, because it really grinds on me. I think people who need representation deserve better, and we should not lower the standard, and we should not automatically award high rating just because there's representation in there. It shouldn't be a point in your rating scale, because if it is, authors will, and they have already done so many times, and it's very obvious when they do, put those characters and put that rep in the book just to tick a checkbox. And it's happened now, and it's never a good idea. I hope you guys understand what I mean, but I just feel like it deserves better. And it just, yeah, it just kind of annoys me, like, but I feel like as a community, we are partially responsible for that, for the checkbox rep, because we praise it. And nowadays, if a book doesn't have that, you take points down. So of course authors will put that in, even though it doesn't do it justice. Do you know what I mean? Okay, serious topic over. Does booktube make you feel pressured into reading certain books, genres, new releases? Absolutely not. I don't think it ever did. I know some people say that it has to them, and that's fair enough. I don't think it ever did. It only have made me really excited at the beginning, and I made myself read those books, but I never felt pressured. Like, sometimes I will get comments that ask me to read a certain book that I already said I don't really want to. So I suppose that is peer pressure, but if I don't want to read, or if I don't want to do something, it's fairly hard to actually make me do it. Do you get a lot of hate on the opinions that you share with your audience? I don't know. We'll see on this one. But yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I would love to know your opinions, so please, I will leave the questions in the description bar and I would love to see you answer them as well. If you have any type of social media that you would like to do this on, consider yourself tagged and let me know that you posted that as well. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you had a good chill time. Stay awesome, stay kind, and I'll see you next time. Bye!